Have you ever wondered why, out of all the videos you could have watched today, you stopped here? Maybe it wasn't an accident. Maybe your heart has been carrying a question so quietly that even you haven't found the words for it. A question about love. About waiting. About whether the person meant for you is real, or just a dream you've held on to for too long. Take a deep breath for a moment. If you've been feeling lonely, confused, or wondering whether your future soulmate even knows you exist, don't rush away. What you're about to hear isn't a prediction of the future. It's a faith-inspired reflection about hope, prayer, and the possibility that God is working in ways we cannot yet see. And before this message ends, you'll discover one simple truth that many people overlook when they pray for love. Imagine this. Somewhere in the world, there may be another person carrying hopes that sound surprisingly familiar to yours. They have their own struggles, their own silent tears, their own moments of asking God for wisdom, patience, and the courage to keep believing. You don't know their name. You don't know where they live. Yet the possibility that both of your lives are being shaped through faith is a comforting reminder that no sincere prayer is ever wasted. But that's only the beginning. Perhaps you've spent nights asking, "Lord, why am I still waiting?" Maybe you've watched friends build families while your own story seems to move more slowly. Maybe you've smiled on the outside while quietly wondering if your season will ever change. If that's where your heart is today, remember this: waiting does not always mean being forgotten. Sometimes the quiet seasons are where character grows, where wisdom takes root, and where hearts learn to love with patience instead of fear. Think about the people in Scripture who experienced long seasons of waiting before seeing God's promises unfold. Their stories remind us that delay is not always denial. Often, growth happens in the silence long before blessings become visible. And that changes everything. Because if God is shaping your heart today, He may also be shaping someone else's. Not to create a perfect person, but two imperfect people who are learning to trust Him more each day. What if your future relationship isn't being built on perfect timing according to the world, but on faithful preparation? That's a question worth holding on to. Sometimes we become so focused on finding the right person that we forget the quiet invitation to become the kind of person who reflects kindness, patience, humility, forgiveness, and grace. Those qualities don't simply appear overnight. They are formed little by little, often through seasons we would never choose for ourselves. Maybe your current chapter isn't empty after all. Maybe it's a classroom. Every disappointment has taught compassion. Every unanswered prayer has strengthened endurance. Every lonely evening has deepened your dependence on God. None of those moments are meaningless. And perhaps, somewhere you cannot yet see, another person is learning those same lessons. not because life has been easy, but because faith has carried them one day at a time. Imagine the beauty of two lives being prepared separately before they finally cross paths, not by coincidence alone, but through countless ordinary moments that slowly shape who they become. That thought brings hope, doesn't it? Still, hope can be difficult when prayers seem unanswered. There may be days when you wonder whether you should simply stop believing. Yet even then, faith gently whispers that your story is still being written. The chapter you're living now is not the final page. There is still more to come. And in the next part of this journey, we'll explore how unexpected seasons of waiting can reveal blessings that are impossible to recognize while they're happening. There is something remarkable about the way hope survives. Even after disappointment. Even after silence. Even after moments when you wondered if anyone truly understood the desires hidden deep within your heart. Perhaps you've asked yourself questions that you've never spoken out loud. What if I miss my chance? What if I'm meant to be alone? What if the future I dreamed about never happens? Those questions can feel heavy. But they don't have to become the final voice you listen to. Because faith often begins where certainty ends. When we cannot see tomorrow, we are invited to trust the one who already does. Think about a seed buried beneath the ground. From the surface, nothing appears to be happening. Days pass. Weeks pass. Rain falls. The soil remains still. Yet beneath that silence, unseen roots are growing stronger. No one applauds that hidden growth. No one celebrates it. But without those invisible roots, the tree could never stand when the storms arrive. Maybe your life feels like that hidden season today. You don't see progress. You don't see answers. You don't see the person you've been praying for. But unseen growth is still growth. And that truth changes the way we look at waiting. Because waiting isn't always empty. Sometimes waiting is preparation. Preparation for wisdom. Preparation for healing. Preparation for a love that isn't built only on emotions, but on character. Ask yourself this. If every prayer you prayed were answered immediately, would you become the same person you are becoming today? Sometimes the greatest gift isn't receiving something quickly. Sometimes it's becoming someone stronger while you wait. That realization can transform everything. Because real love isn't only about meeting the right person. It's also about becoming someone capable of loving with patience, honesty, forgiveness, and compassion. Those qualities are not learned overnight. They are formed through ordinary days. Through disappointments. Through moments when no one is watching. And maybe, just maybe, someone else is walking through that same kind of season right now. They may be learning to forgive old wounds, learning to trust again, learning to let go of fear, learning to believe that healthy love is still possible. Neither of you knows the other. Yet both journeys matter. Because healthy relationships are rarely built by two perfect people. They are built by two people who continue growing, learning, and choosing grace. Isn't that a beautiful thought? It reminds us that every difficult season can still have purpose. Even the tears. Even the unanswered questions. Even the long nights. None of them have to be wasted. They can become part of the story that shapes your future. But there is another truth many people overlook. We often pray for someone who will understand us completely. Yet we sometimes forget to ask how we can become more understanding ourselves. That small shift changes everything. Instead of living only with expectation, we begin living with preparation. Instead of focusing only on what we hope to receive, we begin asking what kind of kindness, patience, and encouragement we can offer others every single day. And something remarkable happens. Our hearts become lighter. Not because every answer arrives immediately, but because hope starts replacing fear. Peace begins replacing anxiety. Trust begins replacing constant uncertainty. That doesn't mean every day becomes easy. There will still be moments when loneliness visits. Moments when memories return. Moments when comparison tries to steal your joy. But those moments no longer define your future. Because your future is not determined by your fears. It is shaped by the choices you make today. To keep believing. To keep growing. To keep loving. To keep trusting. And as you continue this journey, there's one more perspective that has encouraged countless people through seasons of waiting. It isn't complicated. In fact, it's beautifully simple. And once you begin to see it, you may never look at your waiting season the same way again.